Welcome into the box score. Jeff Barnes along with Terry Collins, and we want to thank our title sponsor, Carthage Safeway. Another week of action in the books, and Jeff, right now people are playing non-district games, but we're fixing to hit, at least for some of these districts, they're going to hit hot and heavy, probably starting this week. Some big district games.
And count District 7 AAA in that mix, because Friday night, I know for White County, they take on Upperman. Big test, at least for the Warriorettes, playing the defending state champions.
When you look at the toughness, and we've talked about that for 7 AAA of that district, you know, they have played some tough non-district teams as well, getting them ready for district play, which comes less than a month really after regular season started.
Yeah, you look at Coach Dodgton. That's what he does. You play the tough teams, get yourself ready. Coach Buck the same way with Stone Memorial. They just played Knox Webb here recently. Mm-hmm. It goes all the way down. Livingston, Upperman still undefeated coming into the season. Just about top to bottom in that district. You can find pretty much a lot of those teams that's going to get you 20 wins every year.
Let's go back to our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week. Of course, this was last Friday night when Gordonsville comes over to Bill Landreth Gym in Carthage, and Gordonsville Girls breaks a 21-game losing streak to the Lady Owls dating back to November of 2021. Kamara Young, 12 points. I had her unofficially with 13 rebounds. Libby Clark, 11 points. Shot the ball extremely well for Gordonsville. Abigail Hackett, 13 points for the Lady Owls. But Jeff, in that ball game, Jake Dillard's team came over. The Lady Owls made some runs, but in the end, they withstood that. And once you've got an 11-year losing streak, I'm sure a big weight feels like they've been lifted off their shoulders.
Oh, no doubt about that. Gordonsville coming in, getting the win. I know that has to be a huge boost for them, getting that monkey off their back after all these years. And those two teams, as a matter of fact, are going to be meeting in a little over a week from now.
They definitely will. Let's go ahead and look at the boys. Gordonsville boys win the nightcap. That was a 44-44 game there with less than a minute to go, and Ryder Grissom steps up and hits a big three for the Tigers. They score the last 6 points of the game to win it 50-44. Braden Holloman, 19 points, hit 17 of those points coming in the second half. Ryder Grissom with 10. For Smith County, Peyton Hicks returned. That was his first game back. He had 12 points to lead the way. Matthew Sinclair with 11. But the Owls, once they got that 12-point lead there with about 2.5 minutes in the third quarter, mentally they kind of checked out. And give Gordonsville credit. Holland stepping up big for them. But you thought Smith County had it where they wanted it at 39-27 with 10.5 minutes basically to play in the game.
Yeah, and there was just kind of shocking there. But give Gordonsville a lot of credit. Holloman is pretty much the key to that team. He stepped up in the fourth quarter when they needed to. 19 points for the games. 3 threes in there. Ryder Grisham has a great game, as you see on the stat. Gordonsville has to feel pretty good, but giving up 17 points in the fourth quarter, I know that was left Smith County a bad taste in their mouth.
Look at the other game of the week, and of course that was just last night. Smith County gets the win over DeKalb. DeKalb only had one loss. That was to Warren County coming into the ball game. Smith County and Matt Ferrell gets the win, 49-38. Jeff, you saw that game just like I did. Mm-hmm. I thought Matt Ferrell defensive effort by his team was a key. They contested a lot of shots. They made everything tough for DeKalb.
Hawkins, Halton, Collins all did a great job for Smith County. And Chloe stepping up with 3 threes had to make you feel good too.
Right. Well, I was as proud of the 15 rebounds as I was the 15 points, to be honest with you, because that's where Smith County has struggled at times this year against teams, especially in their losses. And of course, we're going to be talking to head coach Matt Ferrell a little bit later in the show. But Addison Hawkins stepping up with 13 points. Ella Van Branken leads DeKalb with 19, but still had a tough shooting night. especially in the fourth quarter when, that game was still within reach, but they kind of, and I don't want to say panicked, but I thought rushed their offense a little bit, Jeff.
They probably
which probably hurt their chances for a comeback.
They did, and DeKalb only getting one free throw. That was all they had in that third quarter. It gives Smith County's defense a lot of credit because they never let DeKalb County back in the game. And looking at some of the stats, Ella had 19, but when you look at the other players on the team, not a lot of field goals given up, and that's a credit to that Lady Owl defense.
They really struggled with turnovers as well. At times Smith County would, trap out of that man-to-man, but I just thought it was the Lady Owls' defensive effort and then getting on the boards. And another big thing, I think, Jeff, was a key to that ball game was 12 offensive boards for the Lady Owls. That proved to be huge against a team that was probably taller than them per player if you averaged it out. Mm-hmm. But still, you talk about rebounding, a lot of times you talk about effort, and I thought the Lady Owls' effort on the offensive glass was a big key.
And it was, Collins was big. Dickerson got some shots and got some second chances in there along with Hackett. So, yes, Smith County coming away with a big win, and DeKalb just their second loss of the year.
Let's go ahead and look at the boys' game. Very entertaining game, 69-59. DeKalb with the win, and Robert Wheeler leading the way with 19 points. Connor Close, 17, including the dunk there at the end. But when you look at DeKalb, their length really bothered the Owls. When you look, they start from 6 foot to 6'4", and then the tallest Owl starter is 6 foot. But you could just tell they were more athletic, they were quicker. Even though they were taller, they were quicker. And, you got to block out and block out hard. And Smith County struggled with that. When you're a shorter team, you just can't jump with the other team, Jeff. You've got to get a body on somebody.
Exactly. You got Birmingham, you got, Ramos, he's good about taking it to the hole. And you got Wheeler, and you got Close, Antoniak, all crashing the boards. They had a lot of second chance efforts, and they got off to a good start. Smith County, they drew close in that second quarter, was able to pull within 5 at halftime. And for Smith County, Dickerson, he just, live and die by the 3, 22. He did all he could to keep them in the game, but, give DeKalb a lot of credit. They had a lot of, they hit some big free throws when they needed to, and also hit some big shots.
Matthew Sinclair with 7 points, and then Clayton Rigsby, one of his better efforts, he had 11 for the Owls in the loss to DeKalb. Let's go ahead and look at the Sonic and Carthage scoreboard from District 7A. We'll start out with the girls. Clark Range over Monterey by 12. Red Bowling Springs, a big win over Trousdale, and then Pickett big over Oneida. Flipping the page, at some more scores on Monday. Clay County over Jackson County. Of course, Clay County in catch-up mode now because their football team went all the way to the state championship game before losing to McKenzie. They had to postpone several games. They played 3 games during that stretch. Jackson County, 50-30 over Gordonsville. That was the shocking score of the night for me.
Yeah, especially when Gordonsville comes away with a victory over Smith County, really getting up and getting that win, and then coming out against Gainesboro, and and unfortunately just the effort not there.
That game at Gordonsville as well. Stone Memorial, a 1-point win over Clark Range. Looking at other scores, the standings first. You look, of course, the district have not started yet. I don't think they start that until the first of the year, if I remember correctly, for 7A and 6AA. But Pickett sitting there with a couple of losses. Of course, one of those being to Livingston. Clark Range sitting at 5-4. We're not used to seeing 4 losses by Clark Range. Now they've played some awfully tough competition.
And that's we was talking about Mike Buck earlier, when Stone Memorial took on Clark Range. Lamar Rogers, the very same. He knows that tough teams, there's teams that want to come and play him, and he doesn't shy away.
He's the all-time winningest coach in girls history in the state of Tennessee as far as wins, and of course that's active, and I'm sure he'll continue to add to that. Red Bowling Springs sitting there at 3-1 and under a first-year head coach Tara Pryor. Red Boiling last year, the region champion. Then they had the misfortune with their coach and wound up losing that sub-state game. I say at home, it was at Lafayette at Macon County High School. But they've got some key pieces returning due to the Lady Bulldogs. Clay County sitting there at 2-2. That's a tough district, and there's going to be a pretty good team is going to be left at home heading to the region.
Yeah, top to bottom. We talk about District 7 AAA, but look at District 7 AA, Single A.
Right.
Anybody can win in that region anytime. And that's a reason it could produce 5 20-win teams.
Sonic of Carthage scoreboard for the District 7A boys. Pickett County over Oneida. Trousdale County gets the win over Red Boiling Springs. Monterey over Clark Range. Clark Range, an improved team under Coach McIlvain, and I think you've seen some of their scores this year where they've competed with some really good clubs. Other scores from the Sonic of Carthage scoreboard: Clay County on Monday night plays Jackson County, wins that one by 8. Then Gordonsville last night gets the win over Jackson County. You got to wonder if Jackson wasn't a little bit tired heading to Gordonsville after what is a very emotional game, a very big rivalry between the Clay County Bulldogs and Jackson County. And
no doubt about that. And of course, too, Clay County just now getting they're getting their legs back under them as well with missing a lot due to football being in the championship. But yeah, I'd say fatigue might have played a part, but give Gordonsville a lot of credit. They hang on and get the win over Jackson County.
Star Memorial over Clark Range by 15. Look at the boys' standings. Picking on top, 6-1. Gordonsville 5-1. Clark Range 3-7. Clay County, of course, not playing many, and Red Boiling sitting there as well. We'll take a look at the District 6AA and 7 AAA when we return to the box score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax preparation and advice, H&R Block is ready to work for you. For the year-round services you need and the one-on-one attention you deserve, partner with H&R Block Business Services. You focus on your business, we'll handle the books. Call today to make an appointment with our Carthage, Smithville, or Woodbury office. H&R Block Business Services, helping your business prosper with a unique combination of services, expertise, and convenient locations.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Preston Brothers Construction knows what it takes to get your next building project completed the right way and the way that you want it done. As a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor serving Woodbury and surrounding counties, you can trust Preston Brothers to put their many years of experience to work for you. For help with the design, construction, or management of your next residential or commercial building project, there's only one team to call: Preston Brothers Construction, 615-563-2885.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works. And it's how we do business at DTC. You can count on us for internet, TV, and phone. backed by local support.
For a limited time, get 1 month free when you add or upgrade your internet package. Enjoy internet speed that can keep up with all you do.
DTC. We're working hard to be a good neighbor.
And welcome back to the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway. We're going to look at some more scores from the Sonic Carthage scoreboard. On Thursday night, Meigs County beats Cannon by 2. Warren County then over Cannon County. And, Warren County, we've seen them earlier in the year, Jeff, against DeKalb. They've got a good club.
They do. Coach Lippy has done a good job for the Lady Pioneers. And when you consider where the Lady Pioneers were just like maybe 5 years ago, maybe before Coach Lippy came, they were really down. Give him a lot of credit. He's really picked that program up, and they could be competing with Coffee County.
DeKalb County over Watertown by 21, and then Westmoreland locks down Clarksville Northwest, holds the Vikings to only 24 points in the game.
Yeah, that's we know Westmoreland's a great team, but they showed some defensive moxie in that game, holding Clarksville down. It's one thing about Clarksville. They're kind of up and down. You never know which team will show up.
Let's go ahead and look at some more scores from Saturday night. Smith County stays at home, beats Macon County, rebounding from the Gordonsville loss, 52-38. Watertown over Cascade, 63-42, and then Westmoreland over Macon County, 54-30. Once again, Westmoreland Lady Eagles defense kind of flexes their muscle. I mean, you hold a team to 30 or less in a game, Jeff. I mean, that's just an outstanding job.
Yeah, and I know that Macon has not been the team that they were a couple years ago whenever they were state champions. But a heck of a job by Westmoreland Lady Eagles. They are doing a heck of a job this year.
Coach Perry, he is always preaches defense first. Look at the 6AA girls standings. You got Cannon County there at 4-3, Westmoreland at 6-2. Westmoreland has played a gauntlet of tough schedule so far. Smith County under first-year head coach Matt Ferrell, which we'll have later in the show, sitting there at 6-3, and then Watertown at 1-5. Let's go ahead and look at some Sonic Carthage scores on the boys' side of the ledger. Meigs gets the narrow win over Cannon by 5. Warren County over Cannon County, 47-33, and then Westmoreland gets a win against Clarksville Northwest, 73-67. Jeff, the thing that jumps out to me against that, Eagles usually are more stingy defensively. They're kind of like their girls. Of course, their former girls coach is now the boys coach in Cherie Abner, who used to be at Green Hill. But still, Westmoreland getting the win over the Vikings, that's a big win for them.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was kind of a shock to them. It turned out to be a shootout,
right,
between Westmoreland. Not such a easy game for them, but they pull it out in the end. The game before that, Warren County, Warren County getting their first win under Danny Fish.
Right, 47-33 over Cannon County. Of course, they had lost some close ones. In fact, they lost by 2 to Gap earlier. Let's go ahead and look at the more boys scores. Smith County on Saturday night rebounds from the Gordonsville loss with a big win over Macon County, and Macon County first-year head coach Michael Owens, 70-47. The one thing Macon County is Smith County hit 13 threes in that game. Is Macon County tries to get to a slower pace. Smith County kind of sped them up. Watertown over Matt Duke Christian by 8, Cascade big over Watertown, and then last night Macon County over Westmoreland in a very low scoring game, but give Michael Owens' team credit, they get the 3-point win.
Boy, they did, and I know that had to be a little bit of a shocker to Westmoreland. Westmoreland offensively just could not get things going. Macon County, getting the win. And I know that was a much needed win for them. They had lost some close games.
When you look at Michael Owens, I think his mentality, his toughness, we saw that at Red Boiling Springs when he coached the boys there. Of course, he went to Clay County there for 1 year. I think better things are ahead for the Macon County Tigers with Michael Owens there, because I think he'll create a culture, Jeff, that'll make them better down the road.
Yeah, I think so. I saw him at a media day back in October, and his enthusiasm for Macon County. Almost maybe put them up on my media poll, but I think he's going to have that program in a good position in the years to come.
He's very intense, and I think that'll carry over to his team, the Tigers. Let's go ahead and look at some standings. Looking at Westmoreland sitting there at 5-2, Cannon at 3-4. Smith County has lost last night, makes them 3-6. Watertown sitting there at 3-5. Everybody below 500. This boys district, it's up for grabs.
Oh, it is. Even though Westmoreland is 5-2, looking at these teams right here, anybody top to bottom can win this, despite 3 of the 4 teams being under 500.
I think Smith County, them getting healthy, getting Peyton Hicks back, getting Johnny Lyda back. Of course, Lyda's going to be out. I think he's got a torn labrum, got to have surgery. It's going to be late in the year, maybe even tournament time before they are at full strength. Let's go ahead and look at the 7 AAA girls scores. Sonica Carthage sponsoring that. DeKalb over Watertown by 8. Knoxville Webb over Stone Memorial. Webb's always got a dynamite team. They most of the time advance. They've won state championships before. You got York over Cumberland County. Just shows you, York, a runner-up finish a year ago. They just, they don't have a whole lot of girls, or last year they didn't. I haven't seen them this year yet. They don't have a lot of people, but, they do what they do, and the Beatty girls are solid. And, big things, I think, ahead for York. Of course, you got to get out of the district. That's the big thing there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once you get out of the district, move on. It gets a little tougher, but that's a good quality win against Cumberland County. Lady Jets improved. Probably going to be top 3.
Of course, York is in 5AA, which is corresponding district with 6AA. Livingston over Creekwood. Cookville gets the win over White County. I was a little surprised at the margin of that, Jeff. I thought that would be a closer game.
It should have been probably a closer game, but Cookville is a tough place to play, and it's a tough place to win. Nia's been battling the flu. She had 14 points. Celeste led the way with 23, but just too much Lady Cavaliers in that game. Cassie Gallagher is going to be. She's going to be tough to deal with whenever Cookville gets in district play. When these two teams, when they meet in White County, I think it will be a different story.
Upperman big over Pearl Cone. Let's go ahead and look at some more Sonica Carthage scores. We see on Saturday night, Upperman gets the win over Central Kentucky, solid team, and then Smith gets the home win over Macon 52-38. In fact, Smith County was down 1 after Coach Ferrell got a tactical at the end of the third quarter. They were down 1, and then they outscored them 15 the rest of the way to get the victory at home over the Tigerettes and first-year head coach Kaylin Thompson. Let's go ahead and look at some more scores. Westmoreland over Macon County last night by 24. Stone Memorial, the narrow win over Clark Range. Of course, that is a AAA team against a single A team. Cumberland County gets a win over McMinn Central. White County big over Sheville, and then Upperman over Tullahoma. Jeff, any of those scores jump out at you?
I'm glad, Cumberland County bouncing back with a win. No surprise with Westmoreland. Stone Memorial, there, here we go, Coach Buck against Lamar. Good game right there. Stone Memorial, a good win. White County had a pretty easy time against Shelbyville the first time at Shelbyville. More of the same. Upperman continues that undefeated streak.
Go ahead and look at the standings. As Upperman sitting there at 8-0, White County, Livingston at 6-1, Stone Memorial. It's like we said, they've played some tough teams. But when you look at those top 6 teams and their records, Macon struggling there at 2-5. Out of those 6, I don't know that there's a whole lot of difference out of those top 6 teams yet.
No, and when you look at it and look at last year, Upperman finished 4th, and they go on to win the state championship. White County has been a consistent, top 3. Livingston's going to be a lot improved this year, as is Stone Memorial. Stone Memorial expecting big things. They could be in there in that top 3 race.
It's going to be fun to follow this as they get into district play this Friday night, to follow and see what these scores are, because I think there'll be a lot of close, hotly contested ball games for sure. Let's go ahead and look at the Sonic of Carthage scoreboard. Upland over the Tennessee Heat. Cookeville gets the sweep with the win over White County's boys by 15. That has always been a big rivalry. Cookeville and Sparta for years.
Oh yeah, and just like in the girls' game, Terry, once again, White County just did not have a good night. We just didn't play well. That was the key. But give Cookeville a lot of credit. They stepped up defensively. They made free throws down the stretch. We just had a lot of turnovers in that game. It'll be interesting whenever it's standing room only in White County.
Stone Memorial over Knox Webb. DeKalb County gets the win over Watertown. Livingston continuing on the roll, gets a big win over Creekwood. And then York, big over Cumberland County. Of course, York's probably going to be the team to beat out of District 5AA. And, from what it looks like, at least right now, you would think York would have the best chance of winning that Region 3AA championship again.
I think so. I don't think that there's going to be too many teams that's going to stop them. And look what they did against Cumberland County. I'm kind of surprised how the Jets are off to a struggling start.
Let's go ahead and look at some more scores. Smith County over Macon County. Then Upperman puts a whooping on Tullahoma, holds them to over 20 points. White County big over Sheville. Stone Memorial over Clark Range. McMinn Central over Cumberland County. Then Macon County, as we talked about earlier, the big win over Westmoreland. Looking at the 7 AAA boys standings, Stone Memorial still undefeated at 7-0, Livingston 5-0, Upperman 4-0, DeKalb sitting there at 6-1, White County 5-1, and then you got Macon and Cumberland. But still, I think it'll be an outstanding regular season race. Probably those top 5 teams will be battling out for those top 4 spots. And we'll have an interview with Smith County Lady Owls head coach Matt Ferrell when we return on our next segment of the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Preston Brothers Construction knows what it takes to get your next building project completed the right way and the way that you want it done. As a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor serving Woodbury and surrounding counties, you can trust Preston Brothers to put their many years of experience to work for you. For help with the design, construction, or management of your next residential or commercial building project, there's only one team to call: Preston Brothers Construction, 615-563-2885.
From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax preparation and advice, H&R Block is ready to work for you. For the year-round services you need and the one-on-one attention you deserve, partner with H&R Block Business Services. You focus on your business, we'll handle the books. Call today to make an appointment with our Carthage, Smithville, or Woodbury office. H&R Block Business Services, helping your business prosper with a unique combination of services, expertise, and convenient locations.
Here with Smith County head coach Matt Ferrell in his first year. And Coach, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank y'all for having me on. Thank y'all for covering Smith County Athletics. Glad to be here.
Coach, last night you played DeKalb County. They're coming in with one loss, that only loss being to Warren County. And I thought your team's effort defensively was great, but I thought your offensive rebounding, Coach, was a big key to that ball game.
Yeah, we rebounded the ball. We rebounded the ball pretty well on both sides. On both sides actually. And, that was something that we talked about a lot going in. Specifically with the Cavs, a little more so than any of the other things we played. And then, of course, again, this week with Livingston coming up, it's kind of the same deal. But I thought the Cavs rebounded the ball better than the majority of the teams we played so far. And that was something we kind of talked about. Like, we have to be able to control the glass. We can't dictate the pace if we don't have, if we don't control the glass. And I thought we could get some easy ones because, they're pretty disciplined about what they do as far as who gets the ball, when they're supposed to shoot it, what they're looking for, and the other kids on that team, they know, we got to rebound if we want to get ours. So, we've done a lot of work last, on Monday specifically getting ready to hopefully control the glass, and I thought the girls done a really good job of that. And that was, like I said, that was kind of a little bit of an emphasis for us.
Coach, when you look, Chloe Collins, 15 points and 15 rebounds, probably her best game of the year. But I know defensively at times your team has struggled to do what you wanted them to do. I felt like they took the game plan and adhered to that, and really, like on Ella Van Branken's drives, I thought they were, walling her up, excellent, getting on her left hand, making her do something. Now, she did make 3 threes where you kind of went under screens. You adjusted to that in the second half, but still, I think from top to bottom, defensively, it was one of your, if not the best efforts you had in your first 9 games. As you're 6-3 now, at least one of the top 1 or 2.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we talked a lot about Ella and what she's capable of doing. She's a pretty skilled player, maybe as skilled as we'll see at the guard spot this year. And they do a good job of getting her a lot of looks. And we knew that coming in. And so, Addie Hawkins she's got a little dog in her. And, I told her, I said, you're going to have to be, you're going to have to be really good defensively for us to have a chance to win. I felt like Ella in the games I had watched on film, Ella had really controlled the other team's defense. And I kind of felt like if we could get to where we controlled what she got to do, that it would put the rest of their kids in a tight spot, maybe more so than it did her. Because I feel like, with a kid like her, she's going to get hers. I mean, she ended up with 19 last night, but I thought she had to work really hard to get 19, which kind of throws the flow off for everybody else. So that's what we tried to do. And like I said, we went under, we actually were hard headed is what we were doing on those ball screens. And they put a little wrinkle in that I didn't see on some of the film that I watched. And they set that double stagger. And what happened was Addie would get over the first one and then get caught on the second one because she didn't realize it was there. And that was just communication error for us more so than anything else. And we talked about it at halftime and talked about how we were going to treat those double staggers. And she didn't really get any more clean looks after that. That's a testament to Addie because Addie was, like I said, she was a dog last night, but that was also a testament to, everybody else defensively because I felt like we communicated those screens well. We jumped on her left hand and tried to force her to the right. We made her take 12-footers falling away instead of 6-footers, with her athletic length. That's a big thing for her. I just felt like we put her in a position where she had to make tough shots all night long. And like I said, I think it affected the flow of the other kids on the team.
Coach Ferrell, you led by 1 at the half in the third quarter, holding DeKalb County to just 1 free throw. had to make you feel good because these girls come out defensively and really shut down DeKalb County. And other than Van Branken's 19, when you take a look at the rest of the team, not a lot of field goals given up.
Yeah, and that's something that we really put a lot of emphasis on. And to the girls' credit, they understood what we were trying to get, and they carried it out to a T, like I said, other than just a few little things. And then the third quarter, I challenged them a little bit at halftime. I told the girls at halftime, I said, if I was sitting in that other locker room over there right now, I'd be tickled to death because I feel like they've shot twice the shots they have, and they're sitting there down one. They got to feel pretty good about where they're at. So, and I said, we have to capitalize on the opportunities that we're getting. I feel like they're really struggling to get looks, and we're not doing enough to create a little bit of a gap. I really felt like if we ever could get them in the opportunity or in the position where they had to play man, and we got the opportunity that we haven't seen very much man this year. Everybody's played us zone. Clay County kind of opened Pandora's box for us a little bit, but playing that 2-3 zone, we didn't shoot it well that night. Everybody's piggybacked off of it, and we've gotten a situation where if we can get people to play zone, our girls are very confident in what they're able to do. Play man, our girls are very confident in what they can do against man-to-man defense. Once we got up 5 or 6 there in the third quarter, it was one of those deals where it's like, okay, you can't sit back in the zone now. You got to come out here and guard us. And when they did that, I felt like we really got to dictate the rest of the game. So the girls done a really good job defensively of making sure that we got to be the pace setters and not being.
Coach, you spread the floor once you got that lead and basically did what you wanted to do. Of course, you had Hawkins with the penetration. You had Halton with the penetration. Thought you got some great minutes out of Dickerson off the bench for you. Of course, with only 9 players on the roster, you've got to have that bench to come in occasionally because Halton and Hawkins both have been in foul trouble at different times for you this year. So it's key that these girls develop. And, I know we saw a little bit of Ann Dallas, but still, when you go to the bench, you don't have a whole lot of options because you don't have a whole lot of kids over there. But I thought when they did come in, I thought they gave you some solid minutes.
Yeah, and, Marissa going down early in the year, of course, we'll get her back, in 3 or 4 weeks, I hope. That really it kind of put the screws to us a little bit in a way because we had kind of went through the camp season with 7, and JP obviously being 6 now, Julia Dickerson, sorry, JP's her nickname. JP being 6 for us right now because Melissa's gone instead of being 7. Changes what we can do. We want to play a little faster than what we're getting to play right now. We want to play a little more pressure oriented, but I got 6 that I feel really comfortable with. Anna's earning her way into some time. She played well in Gordonsville's game. She played well against Macon the other night, and then she got a couple minutes last night. And me and her have talked multiple times in the last couple of weeks. There's going to be nights she gets 10 seconds, there may be nights she gets 10 minutes. It's just going to depend a lot on foul trouble and the situation. And Anna's done a really good job of accepting that role and really starting to kind of try to work into a couple more minutes. Defensively, is her, that's kind of been her Achilles heel all through summer, and there's just a lot of things she's not been taught, and doesn't have a really good understanding of what we're trying to do defensively yet, and that makes it hard to get her in. As far as JP, I feel like, with Marissa out, I feel like I got 6 starters kind of because JP plays as much as the first group, and in a lot of ways, she makes us a little different when she comes in. Her length is good. Her energy level is always good. She always plays hard defensively. She's not as confident in her ability to score the basketball as I'd like for her to be. And, I always tell her all the time, I'm more confident in what she can do offensively, I think, than she is. But that's part of, her growing as a player, and we're working on it every day. So hopefully when it matters at the end of the year, those 6 or 7, and of course Marissa being back, I'm hoping we can get, we can get to 8 there and maybe have a little bit of a bench there later in the year when we have to have it.
Coach, I know it's just December, but how important was it to get this big quality win against DeKalb last night?
Well, that's something that we've talked about a lot. we laid an egg a little bit Friday night. We laid a big egg Friday night actually, and you know we talked about that a lot. Of course, we beat Macon. Macon had beat Gordonsville pretty handedly earlier in the year. You know, and I've watched some shows on the people that cover the Upper Cumberland area and sports a lot. You know, and a lot of them been saying, "Hey, the Cavs, you know, top 7, top 8 team in the Upper Cumberland right now." And I mean, you guys that have covered girls basketball in the Upper Cumberland for a while. I mean, if you're in the top 7 or 8 teams in the Upper Cumberland, you're on par with just about anybody in the state. So I told the girls up front last night, I said, listen, this is a good opportunity for us. This is a good opportunity for us to show that what people see on Friday night is not who we are. You know, like I said, I felt like we kind of come out flat, laid an egg, and then last night, you know, I felt like the girls came out with a point to prove. They did against Macon too, but Macon wouldn't. You know, they didn't come in with that clout that the Cavs come in. And you come in at 5-1, you know, with some quality wins. I mean, the Cavs played. You know, they played some decent teams. And so I kind of challenged the girls early, you know, Monday and then early on last night, and said, look, this is what you guys. If you guys want to be considered up there with the top teams in the area, then we got to go out and get some quality wins. And this is a good opportunity for you guys to prove a point early in the year and say, you know, we're not anywhere close to what our ceiling can be, but we're a pretty dang good basketball team when we want to be. And, you know, last night they wanted to do it, and they came out, and I felt like they played from start to finish, you know, as hard as they could. Not necessarily that we couldn't clean up some things, because there were several things we could have cleaned up, especially in the first half. But I felt like they played really hard. And they've done things that you have to do to win. And at the end of the day, you know, when it gets tournament time later on in the year, those are the characteristics that you're really looking for. Who's going to go out and make the plays that have to make the win, even when it's not easy.
Coach, you opened with Clay County and Clark Range. I know you're very disappointed going to Clark Range, 30-something point loss. You go to Clay County, you shoot the ball very, very poorly, down in the low 20s in that ball game. I know starting out 0-2 wasn't where you wanted to be, but you went to do 2 very, very tough places to go and win.
Yeah, you know, Clark Range was already scheduled when I got here. I added Clay. You know, Clay County's coming off, I think they've been to the state tournament 3 times in the last 4 years. I know they've been to the Final Four at least once, maybe twice in that span, and they've got a 3-time All-State player back to Bobby Burchett. And they're as talented of a single-A team as there'll be at the state. Them, Pickett, Clark Range, those teams play their way into the fold every single year at the state level. So I added Clay when I got here, and one of the things I told the girls, we talked a lot about the history of girls basketball here, and you know, just the desire that they have for it to be a little more consistent, a little better than what it's been. You know, and one of the things we talked about when I added Clay, I said, look, you guys told me that eventually you want to be playing in state tournaments, you want to be playing in sub-state, you want to be playing for region titles and district titles. This is how you do that. These teams, Clay County, they expect to be in the state tournament. And I know single A is not double A, but, you know, like I said, Upper Cumberland basketball is a little different. Single A can beat a triple A or 4A school on any given night and vice versa. So I felt like I had to put them in the fire a little bit early. We didn't play, though. You know, honestly, Clay, we didn't play terrible. We didn't shoot the ball very well. At Clark Range, it was kind of like Gordon. I mean, we just showed up. We didn't play very well. We didn't shoot it well. One thing, you know, it kind of snowballed a little bit. And we have I tell them all the time, we got a little bit of a mental wall. When things go bad 3 or 4 minutes in a row, we kind of get that little panic in our eyes, you know. And a lot of that is because they've not been put in the position to where they had to go out and make plays to keep them in a ball game. You know, they played behind some pretty talented kids ahead of them, and they're just not used to being in that position. And so my goal in the beginning, you know, with Clay and Clark Range especially, was put them in those positions. Put them in the position where they got to figure out a way to sink or swim, because there's no way we're ever going to get to that point if they're not used to being in that conversation, you know. And that's something that, you know, we're looking forward to this Friday night for that same reason. You know, you get a chance to go to Livingston, a perennial AA power, back in the day, now AAA power. And, you know, one of the best teams they've had in several years. I think they've only got 1 loss by 2 points. So I think they have to be dropped in that fire a little bit in order for them to figure out what we really are and what we can be. So even though I was disappointed, it's one of those deals. I talked to the girls, and we talked about it a lot, even with the Gordonsville game, and I said, at the end of the day, ain't nobody going to care what happened in November. Nobody's going to care what happened at the beginning of December. If you guys make a run at the end of the year, if you put a banner on the wall out here, it ain't going to say Asterisk lost to Clay County the first game of the season. That's not what we're playing for. We're playing to get better for February, March tournament sports. So trying to get them to understand that and get them used to being in that conversation, that mentality, building that mentality, that's the hardest thing I think to do. And that's, like I said, we started out with Clay and Clark Range because I wanted to hit the ground running with that and and try to see if we can be tried by fire a little bit. So I think that's, I think it'll help us when it matters. So hopefully we'll see if I'm right.
Well, Coach Ferrell, we appreciate you visiting with us, and best of luck to you and the Lady House.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for covering Smith County athletics and getting these high school girls basketball players from the state. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. First-year head coach Matt Ferrell has been our guest, and we'll have more as we have the box score, and it's brought to you by Carthage Safeway on DTC 3.
What is your emergency?
I think I'm being robbed.
Sir?
These big home security guys want way too much money from me.
Let's connect you to a local company right away.
It's a crime what big national companies charge for home security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Help is on the way, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Switch now and save. Call or visit DTC Security online today.
Preston Brothers Construction knows what it takes to get your next building project completed the right way and the way that you want it done. As a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor serving Woodbury and surrounding counties, you can trust Preston Brothers to put their many years of experience to work for you. For help with the design, construction, or management of your next residential or commercial building project, there's only one team to call: Preston Brothers Construction, 615-563-2885.
From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax preparation and advice, H&R Block is ready to work for you. For the year-round services you need and the one-on-one attention you deserve, partner with H&R Block Business Services. You focus on your business, we'll handle the books. Call today to make an appointment with our Carthage, Smithville, or Woodbury office. H&R Block Business Services, helping your business prosper with a unique combination of services, expertise, and convenient locations.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
And welcome back to the final segment of the box score. Jeff, when we look, we got a little bit of football still to, I guess, wrap up. We had the Blue Cross Bowl down in Chattanooga on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And let's go ahead and look at some of those scores. We look at Division II games. Friendship in a narrow win over Nashville Christian, 34-27. I think Friendship winds up the year under John McNeil undefeated. Of course, they started their season with a big win over Trousdale County. Lipscomb Academy's coach, Trent Dilfer, now on to UAB. But I was surprised at the margin of that. They beat CPA 42-0.
How about this, Terry? Lipscomb shuts out CPA. CPA, a team that beat Oakland,
right,
in the regular season, and then cannot score, to score a point. That just goes to show that Division II, it's tough.
Baylor, a state championship for the first time since 1973. Their head coach, who used to be at South Carolina as the tight ends coach, coached in high school there, and in 17 seasons at the school he was at, he won 12 state championships. Then he gets, goes to the collegiate level, and now it's his first year back at Baylor. And, that's quite an accomplishment, being an MBA who was undefeated going into this game, and Baylor pulls off the big win. They played them close during the regular season and then beat them here for the state championship.
Yeah, that's one of those, it's tough to beat somebody twice in a row, especially when you played them. They have a chance to kind of adjust a few things, and that's what Baylor did. But man, what a heck of a game between those two.
Looking at Class 1A, McKenzie beats Clay County, a controversial final touchdown there. Clay County had some opportunities, just couldn't cash those in. I know Bruce Lamb to be commended, along with Jimmy Maynard, who says this is his final year. We'll have to wait and see. He was the offensive coordinator for the Bulldogs, and then Mike Dickerson, former Owls coach, was the defensive coordinator for Clay County. Great ball game in 2A. Tyner beats Riverside 26-24, a game that was a little bit closer than we thought. And Alcoa and East Nashville, once again, but East Nashville just couldn't overcome their mistakes, Jeff. 45-26, Tornadoes hang up another state championship.
And what is that, 8 in a row?
That's right.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. Class 4A, Anderson County in a good ball game. I got to see that one, beat Ferrell 34-30. Murphy Fair has been tooting the horn of Knoxville West all the year, and he says they're the best team in any classification. Of course, I'd love to see Knoxville West and Oakland play to kind of determine that. That'd be I think, be a tremendous crowd. They may have to play that in Neyland Stadium. But it's 47-13. They get the win over Page, just Knoxville West, to get the state championship. And, Beats to be commended under Coach Anthony Crabtree, former York player. He gets to the 6A championship, but Oakland kind of flexes their muscle and wins it 42-6.
And Oakland, Kevin Creasy, once again, another win for Oakland. And as we said, CPA, the only team to beat them, and that was Division II. They're just showing their dominance again this year.
Let's go ahead and look at some upcoming basketball games. Of course, we don't have a DTC Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week this week. We do next week as Canyon County will go back to the Cap. But some games coming up on Friday night. Gordonsville at Eagleville, Jackson County at Red Boiling Springs, Pickett County going north of the border and playing Russell County, Kentucky, and then Clay County at Jellicoe. Jellicoe, a team that played in the Pickett County Thanksgiving Classic. And then Clay County, I'm sure they'll probably just stay overnight up there somewhere, because Jellicoe's right up on it's about a 2-hour drive from Byrdstown, probably 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2 hours and a half from Clay County. And then they're coming back down to play Harriman there on Saturday night.
And you kind of hope that they do, or there's going to be a little fatigue in that game.
That's a long time on the school bus, that's for sure. Let's go ahead and look at some other games coming up. Gordonsville at Van Buren County, they travel to Spencer on Monday night, and Clay County has had some great games with Macon County through the years. I know Macon County down as of late, both the girls and boys program, but they've got first-year head coaches. They're hoping to rebound. Tuesday night, Gordonsville travels down to Trousdale County, which would, always is a battle. That's always a big rivalry game. Van Buren County at Clark Range, and then Tennessee Heat at Clay County.
And boy, look at Clay County.
Right.
Having to make up all those games.
Right. They're playing a lot, that's for sure. Yeah. Let's go ahead and look at some other games. This is out of District 6 AA, of course, which Smith County, Cannon, Watertown, Westmoreland are members. Watertown traveling up to McMinnville to play Boyd Christian. Canyon County making a pretty good trip over to Soddy Daisy, playing against a top classification in the state as far as size of schools. So you got to give Jared and Ashley some some credit. They're not shying away from the competition there.
That's the only way you're going to get better is to play some of the best. And Sadie Daisy, been down, but that's team's coming back up.
Smith County goes to Livingston. I think that'll be a good measuring stick for Trey Sanders and also Matt Ferrell because Livingston, both boys and girls, I think both have only lost one game thus far, and that lets you know where you're at because you're going to a tradition field program. When you look at Jimmy Miller and Leslie Smith Riddle, they always have quality teams. They play quality competition. If you go up there and just be competitive, and I know there's no moral victories yet, but I think if Smith County could go up there and just play that within single digits, I think that would, be kudos to them.
I think so too. Livingston Academy playing Smith County while everybody else will be in district action that night.
White House Heritage at Westmoreland. Let's go ahead and look at some more games coming up. Jackson County traveling to Wilson County to play Watertown. Then Jackson on Tuesday night will come to Bill Landers Gym. Of course, Jackson County boys win a narrow game at Gainsboro here a couple weeks ago, and then Smith County girls get the win on the road in Gainsboro. Then you got Mount Juliet Christian at Watertown, and then Canyon County going over to Central Magnet. Of course, Central Magnet principal, the former Dr. John Ash. He was Eddie Ash when we were in school with him back at Smith County High School. But Central Magnet has always put a quality team on the floor, and I'm sure that'll be a tough matchup for Canyon County. Of course, Ashley Patrick going back to a team where she was the assistant coach before she got the job there.
Should be a good game.
Definitely should. Let's go ahead and look at 7 AAA and what's ahead for that. We talked about those district games coming up. They started with DeKalb County at Stone Memorial. Always a tough place to go play up in Crossville.
It is. Either Stone Memorial or Cumberland County, both places. It's hard to play because you feel like you're just way away from the.
It's a great atmosphere, and I think it makes you better in the long run when you make these trips on the road to an Upperman, to a White County, to a Livingston. When you go to those places, I think even if you don't win, just having your teams exposed to that environment, I think helps you in the long run. And we talked about that Upperman White County game. I think both of those games should be great ones.
I think so too. For the Warrior Ants, how they're going to stack up against the defending state champions. I think they got a couple of wins against them in the regular season last year. Can they? Can the Warrior Ants get off to a good start? It's important to get those home wins, and you don't want to give up against Upperman.
Cumberland at Macon County. Of course, we talked about Macon County struggling, and I think for Macon just to make the region tournament is probably a stretch, but something I know that 2 first-year head coaches would like to see for the Tigers and the Tiger Reds. Let's go ahead and look at some more games that are coming up. Cookeville on Saturday night, traveling up to Crossville to play Stone Memorial. Of course, those 2 teams used to be in the same district, but that still should be a battle, especially in that girls' game.
It will be. Stone Memorial going to get a test with Cookeville. Cookeville, a much better team, and they're going to be tough in District 9.
White County at DeKalb County, Sparta and Smithville, not that far apart.
Right.
I think with a first-year head coach for DeKalb, of course, I think she used to play at Riverdale under Corey Barrett. And I think when you look at Brandy Alley and her team, it'll be a good measuring stick. And that boys' game, I think that'll be a great ball game as well.
It'll be a good one. And for White County, DeKalb County is a tough place to play.
It is. And then Stone Memorial at Cumberland County. Well, that'll about wrap up the show. For Justin Malden. For Jeff Barnes, I'm Terry Collins. Good night on the Box Score.